Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hopefully you're doing well. I am gonna wait for my monitor to round out here, but hopefully you can hear me just well. I see it inside vMix, so that's good news. And I'm a little tall. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. All right, that sounds all right. Excellent. Love that, and thanks for coming along. Of course, per usual, even when I change the day, Angus, if he is not in a giant meeting, is usually on board. So I appreciate you jumping on, man. Thanks for hanging out. And I'm so glad that you're along for the ride, because today is a pretty fun day of trying out some new equipment. I added a couple of lights to this rig because I wanted some separation from the back wall and my shoulders. And so there is a bluish, whitish light that's over my shoulder there. And then there's actually another kind of a whiter light that it's warm, but it's sitting here on the floor next to me. And so it gives more of like a defined look. My whole jawline just doesn't disappear underneath, because both of my other lights, my key light and my fill, are a little bit higher up, like they're kind of eye level. So I wanted something a little lower that would provide some separation of my chin, especially because I have a beard, my chin and the rest of my neck. So hopefully that looks all right. I really like the way that it looks, me personally. So I don't, whether you think it looks good or not, whatevs. But yes, there is a little additional. I dug these lights out. These were lights that I had bought myself when I was at Bird Dog, and I had all four of these running when I was doing the Bird Dog John show. So I dug them out of a bin, and here they are. Not the Australian name for bin, but dug them out of storage. And so, yeah, here they are. But I did have to warm up the key light. The key and the fill both are now not like set to 6500, but they're set to, I don't know, I forget what they're at, but they're definitely warmer. It's a warmer shot. So just because this light doesn't have the ability to change, but it does kind of like provide a lot more like definition, and it seems like my camera really likes having the extra light, just because it's easier for the camera to focus on whatever it is it needs to be focused on. Of course, I can see myself. I have a monitor up there, and I've been meaning to jump over to this machine, which is the other PC. I've had a bit of a rig change. vMix output 1. There we go. So I've had a bit of a rig change for good reasons, and I like it. I think I like it, but you don't really know until you use it for a while, right? So the reason yesterday's show was pushed to today is because I was on a kind of an all-day call. There was an installation that requested that I just be available. And so I was on a call with them for an hour and a half or something like that. But then they said, okay, we'll call you back if we need you. And they never did. So I canceled yesterday's show and moved it to today, because today, the only hang up today was that my daughter has a dentist appointment. Now it started at 8:30. And I figured, okay, hour and a half, we'll probably be home by then, because we're just in town, which is just 10 minutes down the road. But she didn't even get in to see the dentist until 10 o'clock. So like 5 to 10. So I left the dentist's office. My wife is there. I didn't leave my daughter alone, but my wife is there with her. My daughter's having some dental surgery, like some baby teeth removed. She's 11. So they're like, yeah, we need these to get out now. And they're not falling out. Matter of fact, this is crazy, but her teeth are growing like behind. So she has like shark teeth. She has like double rows of teeth. And to quote Seinfeld, extra teeth. I love that look. Anyway, so those big teeth are not pushing the baby teeth out. And so they need to get the baby teeth out so that the grown-up teeth can move in. So that's where I was this morning. Hence why I'm a little bit late getting started today, because I figured by 10 o'clock we'll be making our way home at least. No, she hadn't even gotten in. They gave her something to drink that kind of helped her calm down. And then they were like, it'll be an hour wait until that kicks in. And I was like, oh, geez. So my wife was like, look, at 10 o'clock, if we still haven't gotten in, just head for home. Well, they walked her into the room right at like 5 to 10. So I booked it home, and here I am. Now, to circle around a little bit on me changing my camera rigs, or my overall rig, okay? Here's the update on that. So I still have the 3 monitors and the VR headset that are all plugged into what I call the vMix machine, which is this machine that runs this show. All 3 of these screens. I have a soundboard. The X32 is plugged into that. That's running as basically as a DAW system, and then monitors, vMix, all that stuff. My other computer, my old PC that used to be my vMix machine, is still here and is running. Is basically, whoa, that's cool, is generating NDI signals. So the music that you heard at the beginning of the show, the video signal here, that's all running through a separate PC. And I have dual GPUs on that thing. And so I'm using the power of the GPUs to generate the NDI signals and get them kind of using 265. And then screen captures and all that stuff happening on that machine. Then that machine is plugged into my network, 4250, and is then coming over into vMix, and vMix is just decoding those NDI signals and showing them here in the show. Well, what I was doing was I was using a confidence monitor, which is here in front of me, in front of the camera, and using it as a way to see the vMix output in Studio Monitor. And so I can basically see my image, make sure that I'm centered, but I also have audio meters on there and whatever. And so that was a convenient way to make sure that I could see what was being shown while I am talking to you guys. Where's my mouse here? Oh, it's on the wrong computer. That's why. So it was a convenient way to show what the vMix output is, so verify what you guys are seeing, and that audio is coming through. So I like that a lot. I was sending that signal over to an HDMI switcher, which then could show a secondary monitor from that computer above my other 3. So I have 4 monitors here. But what I decided to do was to duplicate what's being shown on the confidence monitor up here on the screen as well. So it's just one screen, and it's just a copy of the screen, but it's a 1920 by 1080 image. And so now when I switch over to that computer, I have this fancy mouse courtesy of Josh Bernstein. I have that fancy mouse that I can switch between platforms. I go over to that PC and then I can manipulate that computer, because I don't really need extended displays. I really just need one, and then I can see everything that vMix is outputting. But then if I need to change something, I can just do it on this big screen, and then it mimics whatever is going on that machine. And the nice thing about that is that monitor is reversed because it's being shown in a mirror. And so we have to flip the image on that screen in order to show it correctly, which means that whenever I would type on there, everything would be backwards. So this way I can see it the correct way, and then the changes are reflected correctly over on that screen. So that's really great. Now, out of that camera as well is a confidence monitor for the camera itself. So I have a little field air monitor that sits on top of that camera in an arm, and that gives me all my coloration and all that information. So that is also really cool. So that system is no longer extended displays, and I access that. I can see that screen now full time above, and I can access that just with this. It's a mouse and keyboard. This is the MX Master 3 for Business that I had acquired when I was at Bird Dog, courtesy of Josh Bernstein. And so he sent me that kind of as like a, here you go, this will be helpful. And I use this every single day. So game change. So I can access that computer now natively with one keyboard and mouse, so it keeps it nice and clean. And I have 3 monitors: confidence monitor for the camera, confidence monitor for in front of my camera, and then also the actual computer screen is happening up here in front of me. But you may also know that I have a Mac Mini that I use for safe harbor stuff, company stuff, and I need to access that. Well, that used to be on the monitor up here. And I can use the video switcher to do that, but I decided to invest in something that is going to be the subject of next week's show. A Jet KVM, if you're familiar with those. They kind of hit the market recently, and everybody's been raving about them. Basically what they are is a bare metal KVM, accessible via IP address, and you can lock it down, and you can link it to a cloud service. So that's what I've done. unboxed it. I tried it out on a couple of machines. Then I decided, you know what? I'm going to deadhead the Mac and just access that via web browser here at the house, because I usually use Google Chrome Remote, but it has some lag, and it's okay. It's fine. It's just not ideal. So I would like to have a dedicated KVM for it. And actually, yesterday's meeting was about some KVM issues that they were having on site. And so we walked through some of that. I don't have a ton of KVM experience in terms of integration. And so they were able to figure out it was a performance issue. It was switch related and device related. So they sorted that out kind of on their own. But anyways, ironically, I had ordered a few days ago this Jet KVM unit. They're about $100 here in the States, and I had it delivered to the house. It arrived yesterday. I plugged it in, and then plugged it in directly to the Mac, and now I just go to my web browser and put in the IP address, and it comes up. One little caveat with Jet KVM is it doesn't wake the device if it's sleeping. So if the HDMI, it will show disconnected, but all you do there is open the virtual keyboard and hit like an arrow button or something, and it comes right back. It wakes up. So accessible now anywhere in my house on any computer. It's also a lot faster than the Chrome Remote, which for like frames per second, which I thought was fascinating, because I'm still accessing it on a web browser, which is what Google Chrome Remote does. It accesses it through Chrome. So it's actually a higher frame rate. I haven't clocked it yet, but when I was editing some videos yesterday over a web browser through Jet KVM, it was keeping up. And I didn't see any visual loss issues. And so I was very impressed with that. That's good performance. And one sidebar of this Jet KVM, which I don't want to get into it too much here. Actually, you know what? I'll save that for next week, because I'll talk about specs and performance, and this will give me another week's worth of work to do. But I'm actually really excited about it, because not only do I access the Mac here, but I access it like on my laptop in the house, like over Wi-Fi, and I access it various places. So there's a way that you set it up, and then it's available locally via IP address, or you can set it up, and actually, you can link it to a cloud service, and then you go to a website and log in, and your device is available there as well. Matter of fact, all devices that you have registered to that login are then available in one place. So I thought that was pretty sweet, and a great way, if you were doing reoccurring support for a company, you could give them one of these and say, plug this in, and then it would pop up in your login, and then you would have access to the computer that's plugged into. So I'll get into the specs and the pros and cons that I found out so far next week. That'll be next week's show. Jet KVM. Be sure that you synchronize your watches, which mine is actually charging right now. Oh, and hey, today's non-sponsor, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons coffee and Tim Hortons mug. This is maple flavored. Again, I seem to gravitate towards that. Oh, no, this is caramel. Oh, no, I take that back. This is a Tim Hortons mug with Starbucks caramel coffee in it. I know, don't tell Tim Hortons. But the issue is, I think Timmy's is having issues getting coffee into the United States right now. So I'm not able to buy a $20 tin of coffee like I normally am. They want $50 for them, and so I can't. That's too rich for my blood. So I'm buying very inexpensive Starbucks coffee from Kroger. So that's what this is, and maybe for the foreseeable future, but time will tell. It's still pretty good, though. Still pretty good. All right. Today's show is all about a brand new device that arrived. And let me just catch up on the... Hey, we hear you. Excellent. Thank you, Angus. Always a pleasure. Hey, that gives it a nice little pop. Good change. Yeah. Oh, the lighting. Yes, I agree. I do like that. I like it. I think it looks a little more even and a little more dynamic, and provides... even just more like definition of my clothing and everything. So I like it. It's called a kicker. That's what, or kick light. So there you go. Okay. So today we need to discuss a brand new product that I have. It's not brand new to the world, but it's brand new, literally still in the plastic. So we could do an unboxing today, and that is the Blackmagic Audio Monitor 12G Gen 3. This thing is pretty exciting if you're in the production world, because this allows you to have a confident monitoring of your audio, and as I understand it, we'll get into it in a minute, various audio scales. So if you have a standard that you use in your production, this thing will adjust per standard, so you get to pick whichever one you want to use. What I like about this, what I'm really excited about this is first of all, a professional way to monitor the audio. It does have a little screen on it, but typically this is set up for your audio team, and to verify the audio meters are very large, and then also you have a small little confidence screen that shows you the output of whatever it is. Now, when I announced this last week that we were going to hopefully do this, I said, but we're just going to have to look at it because I don't really have an SDI source. Well, that is a lie, because I think I will be able to hook up my HDMI source that's going into my switcher here, my HDMI switcher, and be able to send audio from that computer to this monitor. And there's also a loop out, so if I can find another HDMI cable, maybe there's one in here. Unlikely. They rarely supply one. So I think we'll be able to actually check it out and see if it works based on my show, because I have audio that's coming into Studio Monitor, which is showing up on my second computer. So I should be able to send audio to this guy. So let's go ahead and get this all kind of sorted out, and we'll see what's going on. Hey, one nice thing about that KVM is that you can remotely log back into the Mac after a reboot. I use a GL iNet KVM for my Mac Mini. Agreed. Yes, it will show up because it's network based, right? It's taking whatever the HDMI signal is sending it, plus it's plugged in via USB-C to give me keyboard control. Now, two things. First, shoot, this is for next week. You're letting me get ahead of myself here. I really like the fact that I can pull it up on a web browser, and then my keyboard and mouse that is connected to my vMix machine then work natively on the Mac. So I like that a lot. I'm a big fan. Oh, I'm getting an update here from my daughter's situation. One of the ladies just came back. She told me that your daughter's very chatty for a while, like nervous chatty, but now she's doing great. They got the numbing done on one side, and she's doing good. The lady in here is from our town. Her kids go up to Greater Things School. She said things are great. Well, that's comforting. I'll be less nervous for my daughter at this point. Okay, so I don't have my knife on me. Oh, wait, yes, I do. Do I? Wait a minute. Ha-ha! New knife from Christmas time. Thanks, Dad. So I keep a knife on a magnetic plate that's underneath my desk, as well as other protective items. Not that I'm expecting an intruder to walk into this office, but let's just say I'm fully loaded. All right. So off comes the plastic. Yoink. Throw that over there. And let's go ahead and pop the end of the box open. This is pretty exciting. I've been really looking forward to having one of these. And I know my sound guy is as well. So, all right. And then, my goodness. That's in there real good. Oh, man. I got a story to share as well. Oh, look, more Blackmagic stickers. I got a story to share. Ooh. In a minute. Ooh. Oh. That's how they do it. So these are... I don't know if you can see that. Sorry. These are the audio scale stickers that you can apply to the front of the device. That will then... oh, that's cool. That will then allow you to change the audio scale. So if you're not using this scale, which I don't know which one it is, then you can change it. So that's pretty neat. So I don't have vMix open yet. So let me see here. Not vMix, VLC. That's what I need. Okay.
That's pretty neat.
That is pretty neat. Okay. Here it is, folks. This is the audio meter. It's a 1U 19-inch audio meter from Blackmagic. This is the Gen 3, and it's a 12G unit, so it'll take 4K signals via SDI. And 4K HDMI output. Okay, well, anyways, so you can loop out 4K HDMI. There are no cables in the box, which is really annoying, Blackmagic. Mostly because they're an international company, and so you have to supply your own power cable, which is so stupid. But I might have one kicking around. We will find out. All right, so let me go here. I'm looking at making an audio setup change soon. I had an older Focusrite audio interface go bad and ended up replacing it with a Motu M4. It is great, but it's terrible for rack mounting. It's a touch thicker than a 1U and has no decent way to match it. So we've been shopping for a new rack mount audio interface. They make several that look really nice, but most of their new stuff comes with AVB networking, which I do not need. I want ease of access to adjust input gain on the front panel. My current front runner is the SL18 audio interface. Ooh, that's fun. Well, I'll tell you how this one goes. It should be, everything is accessible here, and it's specifically made for a rack mount. And it's not really, for an audio meter, it's not like insanely expensive. It would be expensive if you weren't in the production realm. Like over $1,000 is like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But for what this will do, I'm pretty excited. All right, so how are we going to get this thing to show me, or to get an SDI cable? Well, SDI signal. Well, I borrowed our Blackmagic. This is a 3G monitor. I borrowed this one from the church because we're not in session right now. And we're going to power her up with some easy power right here. Yoink, 12 volts. Perfect. And then I also yoinked an SDI cable. And so we're going to come out of my HDMI splitter. I'm going to take that monitor and send it here. And then I'm going to go out. We do a cross conversion from HDMI in to SDI out. And we're going to add SDI out on the monitor to the SDI in on the Blackmagic. I also suspect that there's probably like a firmware update or something that has to be done. So we will venture down that path as well. I was also thinking that I might have a meeting this afternoon, but I think that has gotten canceled. So, you're stuck with me. Okay, so there's the SDI in on the back of the Blackmagic. There is a 12G 2110 IP port, but I'm not sure that is I'm not sure that that's for internet access. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that we can just plug in and plug in a Ethernet cable, which I'll grab. And that the DHCP will acquire an IP address simply and allow me to see the device at a web UI. Come on, Blackmagic. And it's 2110, so it has to be a gigabit port. All right. So we be good there. All right, and now I need an IE cable. And conveniently, I have one right here. Will this reach? No. There we go. Alrighty, so other than the HDMI cable, which is also sitting right here. Here we go. Okay. Let's a 2110 should be 12G, shouldn't it? Yes, you're right. It should be 12. It should be 10G. You're right. SSL is, of course, an excellent name and comes with a mighty pedigree. Yeah, the Blackmagic metering is tempting to purchase for sure. Well, you'll get somewhat of a first-hand experience here. I don't really have an urgent need for it though. Okay, so this upgrade, it's funny you say that. This upgrade for our studio is one of the lower urgencies, but we wanted to do it after NAB last year, but we wanted to do other things like first, you know. All right, so this HDMI is number 3. Yoink. All right. And we're going to go into our HDMI in on our monitor. And I think I can show this because I have a webcam sitting here. It's terrible. My goodness, it's rough sauce. But at least you can kind of see what's going on here. So I should flip that image, but whatevs. All right, so we're going to power on. Power on our monitor. And then we got to change our source to HDMI. Boom. Bob's your uncle. Bob is your uncle. Come on now. This is fun. So that's that's not cool. It's like 1080p 60, 1080p, 1080p 60. All right, so let's try. Oh, I guess I should. Let's see what we need to do here for this. Oh, and the network is on. So does that mean? Where's the menu here? Okay. All right, so it really doesn't. I think it's the HDMI cable, to be honest with you. Just because it's like a super long one. Okay, let me. I'll be right back. Just give me a second. I'm going to just trade over an HDMI cable. Test, test. Hey. All right, I think I'm back. Let's go ahead and wait for the audio to come back through. It's showing on all my outputs. So, man, that was bizarre. A USB cable got wiggled out somehow. Boy, that's annoying. My Blackmagic Video Assist gets used all the time. What a great little piece of gear. Agreed. Yeah, that was crazy. That I had to once I started getting audio signal inside of my X32, then I had to re-add the microphone source in vMix so it would reestablish the path. So, man, that's really annoying. Really annoying. All right. So let me now do all the things I said I was going to. Okay, so we have Video Assist running. And it is on a tight little HDMI cable. So I'm not going to be able to show it to you, but you'll have to believe me. You'll just have to believe me, because then I have the Video Assist running here, and it does show on the little screen that it's receiving 1080p 60, and no audio yet, but that's just because I haven't sent it anything. So I am going to go to Chrome Remote. I'm going to log into this computer because now I'm using its screen for this thing. And let's just go to the old PC and let's start sending it audio. So now we're going to send audio via Blackmagic. It is actually going out there. And let's just make sure that our audio output is happening via HDMI. There we go. So now we should be getting audio out the HDMI cable that is known as Blackmagic. Let's just verify that again. HDMI, that's going to the NVIDIA screen. So it's not showing, however. Yeah, Blackmagic. Maybe I got to restart Studio Monitor. More than likely, so that it will see all of the audio drivers. So now settings, audio, hey-o, Blackmagic HDMI. There it is. Whoa. And now I'm hearing a loop. Because now it's coming through the remote? Yeah. I guess. All right. So now what I want to do is set the display settings. I should really show you. Can I show you guys this? You know what I could do? Scan converter or screen capture. There we go. I'm just going to make both of these screens the same. Let's duplicate the display. There goes the audio. Oh, no, there it is. It's back. All right. And here we go. Yoink. Okay, so here is that screen. And here is, whoa. All right, so that is what I'm capturing out of the, that's what I'm capturing out of the PC. You guys can't see me? Oh, no. Yeah, okay. You can see me. I'm watching vMix output here. All right, so then the next question is, do I receive audio this way, like through the SDI, right? So here is the unit, and we're going to start sending it audio through Studio Monitor. There it is, baby. Done and done. So we are getting audio meters now. And I can jump back over here to this screen, which will show you everything. I can get it to focus on the device. It's not a very big... Come on. Hey, there it is. All right. That's pretty. Now let's try and get this to where... Well, first of all, there is a volume knob. So if I turn it up here, I can hear it out of the speakers that are on the unit. That's pretty slick. Okay, cool. If I go, is there a menu button here? Oh, you can change the input. Oh, wow. Just by pressing the input button, it changes all of that. You can solo the left channel, solo the right channel if you're doing things like that. I honestly don't see any other options here. There's no like menu option or anything like that. So we've got to probably find a... Man, this is it's so pretty. Like the green is really nice. So I need to send more audio. Let's see if I got any headroom. I don't there. So maybe I could turn it up on the video assist on like the output. Let me see if I can put this down here. All right. Man, it's so cool. All right, on the video assist, we have monitor, clean output, yada, yada, yada. It's just feeding. Oh, okay. Audio, 2 audio channels. The audio metering is exactly the same on the video assist, as you would expect, on the video assist as it is on this device. I'm not even touching yellow yet. So is there a place to increase the volume? There's where you would change the audio metering, but audio doesn't really look like there's any sort of like preamp or anything where I could change that. That's fine. Let's just leave it like that. Let's have a little sip of coffee. All right. Onward. So the next thing I want to try and look at, whoops, and I need to Google Chrome. Can I just mute? Because I'm definitely hearing a loop. It's so funny because Google Chrome Remote usually doesn't include the audio, but in this instance it is. So that's fun. So let's go to sound settings. Sound mixer options. And we're going to turn... That didn't do it. Why didn't that do it? Apps. If I mute this, it doesn't do it. Okay, well anyway, I'll just have to hopefully it's not providing a loop on your side, because that would be really annoying. But let's just leave it running for a second. I'll just talk over it. All right, so the next thing that I want to try and find out is, did it take an IP address? I have not looked at the manual as to like what to expect here, but you would think that if there were other options built into the device that you would access it via WebUI. That is not the case for a lot of Blackmagic products. Matter of fact, they really want you to download... Oh, and I should go to the Blackmagic support site and take a look at the audio meter options. Let me pull up scan converter, and I want to show you my screen, whatever I'm doing here. That's this one. Hit OK. Close. Okay, here we go. So now you can see what I'm Googling. All right, so probably under monitoring, more than likely. Video Assist, Smart View, Audio Monitor. This is for the Audio Monitor 12G. So let's go ahead and download that. We're going to say download only. I don't need to give them more of my information. And we'll say OK. I will allow them to download multiple files, but no, I don't need you to download it twice. All right, let's open this. Extract all. Go ahead and extract. And this is not the extracted folder. This one is. Where's that? What the? Close. Downloads. It's not there. Where did it extract it? Let's try that again. It said desktop, so... Oh, here it is. Okay. So there is software. It's probably not going to take an IP address. Well, it will take an IP address, but not have a web UI. I'm not sure I completely agree with that mentality. You know, have a program, but it has its pros and cons, I guess, but have a program where you access the device through the program instead of just going to the web UI. From my Bird Dog days, I guess I prefer the other option. Everything just has a web UI. But that's me. And I understand that not everybody is me. All right, so we did find the device right away. Will it ask me for a password? Oh, do I have to do this via USB? Because they don't provide you with the USB either. So, yeah, via USB or Ethernet. Ugh. All right. Okay, so before we do... Oh, there's where you change the metering type. Okay, so before we do anything else, I will get a USB-C. A USB-C. Here's one. And we'll plug the USB-C into the device. And try not to put it in my coffee. Plug it into the front interface. And now we've got USB connection. Got it. Okay, so now we can definitely see what's all going on here. So, okay. So we can change this to, so the default is -20, which I think that is what we use at the soundstage, if I'm not mistaken. But there are other ones here. There are EBU PPM, which is this one right here. And this, no. EBU and BBC. And then there is +9 EBU. There's loudness unit full scale +9, loudness unit +18, and loudness full scale +18. Those are the ones that they give you as additional ones. I think I can actually tell you right now because I can look at the monitor because I have it here. Yeah. So ours is VU -18, like this. Save. And that just changed it instantly on the screen. I'm definitely reflecting the same information on the video assist as I am here on the monitor. That's pretty neat.
How neat is that?
Okay, so DHCP. It has assigned itself an IP address, which is fine. I'm going to say utility over Ethernet because that's annoying to not have that option. And then 2110, there's no sources. 3G SDI output is level B. Output? PTP clock, I'm not concerned about that at all because I don't use it. And that's it. Now, the other question is this the update? It must be on the latest version, but I don't see a place in here to do an update. So much like Blackmagic, you download the latest utility, and then that becomes the software that you use to access it. So it's nice and clean, and it definitely works. Everything is reading back as I expect it to. The main reason I want this is because my audio engineer stands and has headphones on, can hear the party line going on over Dante, but is watching what's happening on stage and mixing for the online mix and then doing a house mix as well. So what I want is for him to be able to visually see that he is in the correct range for, like, the stream is outputting in the correct range. And we already have SDI going to that location, like, because he was using the video assist. So we're going in SDI, and then we could loop out HDMI if we need to, but we don't need to in that spot. So that'll be very convenient. So yeah, they that unit is working great, and we'll make this full screen so you can see it again. Very simple to set up, makes lots of sense, and is currently taking in a signal. There is actually an analog in, left, right, and there's a stereo in RCA jack on the back of this thing. But this is going to be monitoring. This is taking a copy of our program out that's going out to the internet each week and is showing him what the levels are for the program out. So that it's kind of a final pass, and then, you know, this is going out from, it's not actually going out from here, but it's a copy of the signal that's being used. So he'll be able to monitor things clearly, not have to take his eyes necessarily off of the stage. He'll be able to make sure he's hitting that same mark every time. So I'm a big fan, man. And it was so like simple to set up, made total sense. A little annoying that they don't supply a power cable. I'll have to pull one out of a box that I have. But I'm going to install this next week. Because this week and last Sunday and this Sunday, we had a pre-recorded service because my sound engineer is actually with his family in Hawaii for the week. So totally cool. And we have the ability to pre-record and then post it, schedule it basically. They're all brand new services, brand new lessons, all that stuff. It's just pre-recorded, not done live. But when we are live, there's a lot of variables going on, people, how well they're using their microphone, video submissions, whether I did my due diligence in rendering the videos and matching the audio levels and all that stuff. There's just a lot of variables. And so this is a kind of a final check to make sure that it is exactly accurate as we expect it to be. So this is great. I'm pretty excited about it. And I think it's going to work really well for us. Okay, one funny story before I can kind of wrap things up. I know I started, 20 minutes late, so I'm not even into an hour here, but the unboxing of this thing was very straightforward. One story from yesterday. I ordered some lumber for the barn. As you recall, perhaps, I'm building a recording studio. And there we go. I'm building a recording studio, and the lumber got delivered yesterday midday, and so I went out in the afternoon and started building the walls for the recording studio, because I kept thinking, like, maybe I haven't thought it through enough, or maybe I haven't looked enough. But honestly, you get to a place where you just got to do it, right? You just got to bite the bullet, and it's like, all right, it's time to build the thing. I've been saying I'm going to do this, so time to do it. So the lumber showed up, and that was pretty great. All of it had arrived. It's not the highest quality of boards, but it was less expensive than going to a big box store. So going to Home Depot, this would have been probably $60 or $70 more than what it was to have it shipped from a lumber yard and delivered directly to me, which was really nice. I didn't have to lug it in my truck, and I would have had to do multiple trips with the weight of all of this wood. So this was delivered yesterday, and I started building walls and getting them kind of put together. This is the first wall that's up against that back corner, which, if you know much about double-walled systems, and I'm actually going to, what am I going to do here? I'm going to close down this remote because I don't want to listen to myself anymore. Anyway, this is that double-walled system, And what you do is you have an existing wall, and that's got plywood, maybe insulation, a bunch of things on the one side. And then you build a second wall that is mounted 1 inch away from the existing wall. Okay, so you put the boards together, and you have to use a green board on the bottom, a pressure treated ground contact approved board on the bottom, just to help with rot and temperature and all that stuff. So you use a green board at the bottom. I put my studs in 16 on center, and then put a couple of top plates on. And so that got done pretty well, pretty straightforward. Looks pretty good. And when I stood it up, let me just make sure that the next photo is the one that I want to show you. I didn't take a photo of it standing up. So you walk it up, and then it was really cool. You use like a Remington, like it's like a 22, but you drive these nails into the concrete. So I did that. I put 4 of them in just to hold it still, and then it was kind of freestanding there until I was able to build the next one. Well, as I was building the next one, had a little bit of an accident, and you may have noticed on the overhead that I have a Band-Aid on my finger. Well, the nail gun clipped me, and so I instantly had a very puffy finger. You can see my index is a fair bit larger. I was bleeding all over the place, but it hit me, and I think I bruised the bone. So yowzers, but it stopped bleeding right away, and honestly, I've had much worse pain. So surprisingly, I'm fine. So that's the oopsie story. But then I did get that second wall up. So then I was able to get them, nail them together so they support each other a little bit better. And I nailed in the floorboards to the concrete as well. So we are 2 walls up of the recording studio. That will actually be the studio space. And that's a 10-foot ceiling plus 3.5 inches. Oh no, plus, sorry, 4 and 3/4 inches. Almost, almost 10.5 feet tall. And then of course the ceiling is 12 feet tall plus trusses and all that stuff. So it's a tall room. Like when I set up the first one and I walked it and put it up, I was like, man, this recording room is going to be huge. Like it's going to feel so tall, because it's a 10-foot wall, and most walls are 8 feet, with the exception of this room. This is a 12-foot ceiling. But most are, 8 feet or maybe 10. But for this room that I'm building, it's pretty fun. So that was yesterday's job, just getting those 2 walls done. And then my son and I my son is 7. We brought in the rest of the wood from outside, because as maybe you're paying attention, there is a winter storm coming for everywhere from Texas to Ohio, and then it's going to be brutal in Canada as well, but they're used to it up there. So yes, it's going to be quite the week, and I didn't want all that wood sitting out in the snow, so we brought it inside, and then I brought my truck in as well. So that's supposed to start tomorrow night. Oh no, it's supposed to start tonight at midnight. So the wood's inside, so if I want to, I could work on it this weekend. My meeting was canceled for this afternoon, so I may actually go out and work on the wall here on the right-hand side. And then there's a bit of a challenge, because I'm doing a double-walled system with a door. And the door will be there on the left-hand side of this room. And my desk, this desk, will be here on the right-hand side. So I don't know if you can I show my mouse? Yeah. So the door is going to be here. Okay. It's an 80 by 30 door. And am I hearing myself out of this? I am hearing myself out of here. That's funny. Okay. So the door will be here, and then my desk will be in this corner. And the wall, obviously, on the inside will be a 10-foot wall. But then the wall on the outside will be a 12-foot wall. So, and it will go up to these rafters here. So I have to measure this precisely. But I did this wall with these 2x6s. And so I'm pretty confident I know what the height of everything is. So I'm not nervous about that going up at all. These are 2x6 walls, and then these are 2x4s for the office recording room. And then, so what we'll do now is you can buy sound dampening brackets. So I'll put them on the roof, on the top beam here, and mount them to the existing wall. But they have like a rubber gasket that basically takes vibrations out, but then they provide a brace for the wall, so the wall won't move. Now, full disclosure, that wall's not going anywhere right now, because not only are the base plates concrete mounted, 3 or 4 nails in each, but then they're also bolted together. So it's an L brace plus the floor mounting. So I've been in and out of this garage half a dozen times today. Everything looks fine. Nothing's moving. But the inside wall is decoupled from the outside wall, and in an effort to reduce vibrations that happen within the recording studio and vibrations that happen outside of the recording studio, my office and cars and whatever. So in an effort to reduce it as best I can, right, we're going for best effort / cost effective. So we don't want to just completely blow up a budget. The issue I'm going to have, the thing that makes me the most nervous about building this room is the doors. So this will be a double-doored system, and I'm following a guy actually online who I really think is generous with his knowledge but knows what he's doing. And I'm going to follow his lead on how to do it. But initially, I'm going to build the studio door first, and then I'm going to build the rest of the studio, save my pennies, and then build the second door after that. So the recording studio won't be as soundproof as it will in the end, but I think I'm gonna build the recording studio door first and make sure it goes as planned. That 8-foot wall door, the 80 by 30, it'll be a solid core door. It'll have heavy mass. It will be a full door hinge, but I'm gonna have to design it myself. I can't buy a pre-hung door, so I'm going to have to design it myself. And then there'll be like a rubber gasket that goes around it. It'll be an 80, 85, maybe a 90-pound door. And then, it'll be a challenge. I think that is what, out of this whole build, hanging this door is what I'm most nervous about. So I'm going to be researching it a lot and hoping that I don't have to redo anything. Anyway, so one of the things about a studio door is that if you know anything about building door frames, and I don't know much, but if you know anything about building door frames, you have king studs and then you have jack studs. So the king studs are the ones on the outside of the door frame, and the jack stud is the one on the inside of the door frame. Well, what they recommend with heavy doors like this is you do your top plate or your header. You do that at least 2 2x4s because there's a lot of strain going on in the door. And then you do 2 king studs and then a jack stud on the inside. And what that does is those king studs go all the way from the bottom plate all the way up to the top plate, right? So they do 4 of those 2x4s as king studs, and then jack studs are the ones that go up and make the actual frame of the door itself. And so instead of traditionally you would do a king stud, a jack stud, the door, instead of that you're doing king stud, jack stud, door. And that basically just gives it the ability to handle the amount of force that will be put on the door, because the door will be solid core 90-pound door, 85-pound door. And mass, what you're trying to do, this is an interesting lesson in soundproofing. What you're trying to do, as I understand it, is you're trying to create the same amount of mass that you have in the door, which is an opening in your wall, to the amount of mass you're going to have on your walls. So in this instance, this studio is going to have a decoupled roof. Okay, so the whole thing is decoupled. Like the recording studio will be floating, basically, not touching any of the other structure in the office. But in theory, so you'll have those braces that have the soundproofing rubberized mounts to them, and those will reduce vibrations but hold the walls up. As you build it, though, you want to be sure that nothing is touching, because that will bring vibrations into the recording studio and let them out. So HVAC is a question, and doors are the question. How do you do that, right? So in this instance, what you're trying to do is create as much mass to match the studio as you have on the walls with the door. So the door needs about 90 pounds in order to match the 2 layers of 5/8 drywall. So I'm going to have like 1.5 inches of drywall on the studio, and then another 1.5 inches on that wall facing the office. So with the door. So this one here will have a fair bit of drywall. And then the rest of the office will just have 5/8 all the way around. So it's thick, but it's not overly thick. Depending on what the price ends up being, all of my electrical boxes that are already mounted are adjustable. And so depending on what the price to drywall the office is, I may do another layer of 5/8 drywall in the office, but I want to do double layer in the recording studio and then a single layer inside the office, and then see where I'm at, because I don't want to burn a lot of money, waste a lot of money, and I still need to do insulation. So R19 insulation on all of the studs that you see here are all going to have R19, which means that the recording studio will also have R19 inside it. So R19 on the outside, R19 on the inside. In Tennessee, that's pretty standard. R30 is standard in Michigan, but that's because they get well below freezing fairly often, and in Canada it's that as well. So it is going to be a good hefty door. You are absolutely correct. And the mass, the weight of that door will provide, along with the rubber gaskets, and you can buy a particular hinge and everything like that, but it'll be an expensive door, close to $1,000, maybe more. But if you got to build 2 of them, then you do need to really be careful about what extra you buy, right? So a solid core door at 66 pounds, which is the one that you can get at Home Depot, that's fine. But then you want to hang the door and then add mass to it afterwards. So that's what the plan is going forward. Anyways, it's going to be an interesting challenge. And I think my mentality with this whole project has been just chip away at it, right? Like do one thing. Yesterday I was like, I'm going to just put up one wall. And then it went so fast that I was like, I'm going to do the second one. And then, whoops-a-daisy, I got hurt. So you do not realize how many times you touch the side of your finger, especially your index, how much you touch that portion of your finger until you injure it. And I'm pretty sure I bruised the bone. So it puffed right up. It's gone down significantly, but it's still puffy. And my finger is blue. Like there's a little blue mark on it because I had some bleeding. So anyway, but I didn't lose any mobility, no feeling or anything like that. Everything's good. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, so that's the progress on the studio. Once the studio walls are up and the drywall is well, I don't even have to drywall the recording studio. I would really like to drywall the office space, and then by late March or April, be moving this stuff out there, because I'd love to start working out there. And then I could be working on the rest of the recording studio, but get all this stuff out there. So I don't know. I'll probably, if I don't drywall the whole thing all at once, then I'll probably tarp off the recording studio, leave it last, and then drywall the office and get all that done and dust it and everything, and then paint it, clean it up, move out there. If I can be out there by April, that would be amazing. I think that's good pacing for a guy that's just doing it himself. I have requested some help from my coworker Dave, and he seems to be willing to help me with that. But I'm doing some of the things I asked him to help me with, like build the frames of the walls. And I'm pretty confident about the door frame thing. If I lay it down and I map it out, I should be able to do it myself. I just don't want to screw it up, right? Because I'm not pre-hanging a door. I'm building the door inside the frame. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more precise. And I may need to just order the door and have it here so that I can kind of do it all together. So, yeah. I'm a little bit nervous about that, but, whatevs. we're doing all right. I did finish. This is the picture of my son. I did finish that 12-foot wall that was. I had asked the construction crew to do it, and they didn't finish it before they moved to Arkansas. Another story there. But there's my son on his little scooter. But I did these boards probably from about here. Can you see that? Yeah, probably from about here over. And that was fun, especially standing up on a ladder, on that 22-foot ladder. That was an interesting task. But then I did put some braces in here just because these boards are pretty wobbly, so I may actually do braces all the way across. But now that the braces are in, these studs are rock solid, so I'm happy about that. And then I don't have any photos there of the electrical yet. I should really do a better comprehensive job of taking pictures as I go along. But you can see one of the electrical boxes here in this shot, which I know is riveting. But there, see, that's an adjustable electrical box. It has a little screw on the side, so you put your drywall up, cut your hole, put your drywall up, and then you can undo the screw, and it will extend out as far as you need, which is really helpful when you're doing multiple layers of drywall, because the nail-on new work single gang box just has measurements for half-inch drywall, which is what's upstairs in the attic. That's fine, but for here, I need it to be better than that. So these adjustable boxes are a little more expensive. You can get a 5-pack for $20, but they're going to make life a lot easier in the end, because I can adjust them and then get a precise adjustment on them before I add the putty, that sound isolating putty that needs to be on all the boxes once they're wired. Oh yeah, and I can run the electrical here too. Now that these boxes are up and the walls are going up, I'm going to have power on. Okay, so looking at the recording studio, I'm going to have power and network on these 3 walls, but not on the door wall. And the reason being, there'll be power right at the entrance of the door, but probably 2 on this side, probably 1 in the middle here, and 2 on this side, and then nothing on this wall. Mostly convenience sake, but also then I don't then like applying putty. It's not as complicated with the double walled system. I don't know. I might change my mind, but that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. So 3 walls with power, 1 power box and a network box, and then power and network and power and network. That way there's power and network in each corner is what I'm going for. So you'll do probably network behind the door, honestly, so I can just run an Ethernet or a Dante line there. So network behind the door, but then power in this corner. Oh, you're not looking at this anymore. So power in this corner, and then network in this corner, and then power in this corner, and network in this corner, and power over here. And that way, wherever you are in the recording booth, if you need to plug something in, you got it. And that will be its own circuit. All those plugs will be on their own circuit. And then lights will be on its own circuit as well. Lights might come off of this circuit, but it'll be 15 amps. So all good. So it's coming along, man. And I'm enjoying seeing it, like the walls going up. Like that's exciting. When the walls went up on When the Walls Fell. Sorry, name that episode. Actually, I can do you one better. You don't have to name that episode. Check this out. My family, my immediate family, I may or may not have told you this, but my wife and I are watching Next Generation, the entire series on oh dang it, is it not in here? We're watching the entire series in the evenings. Kids go down to bed and we're waiting for them to fall asleep so that we can go to bed. Here it is. And so we've been watching The Next Generation, and it's been amazing. It's like I love that show. There's some good ethical conversations in that show. But anyway, so they bought me my own. This thing is in the way. They bought me my own little communicator here, so I can affix it to my shirt. 1 and 2, and you may have heard then when you touch it. It's pretty awesome. It's very crooked. I'll get that fixed. Don't judge me. I was just slapping it on there so I could play the sound effect. All right, there we go. That's better. Now, I don't want another injury, so I'm going to be ginger with these little pins. Okay, there we go. Ah, there it is. Hey-oh. There we go. Number 1. So good. So good. Love it. TNG is so good. Little comm badge. It's true. Although it's not gold, which if you remember in the first season, Riker goes down to this planet where they encounter the Ferengi for the first time, and they take their comm badges because there's gold in them, and so they're like trying to steal them, and then they wake up and put a whooping on, and then they encounter like some spirit that has been asleep for thousands and thousands of years, and the spirit figures out that the TNG guys are, the Federation guys are the good guys, and the Ferengi are the swindlers. That's the episode where Riker stands on the cliff face and is like, anybody! That one. That's a good episode. It's so early in the show. It's classic, but it's early in the show where it's a little bit cringy. And, yeah, good times. Good times to... Season 1. Excellent stuff. All right, so anyways, we got my comm badge on and communicate with the Enterprise. So, yeah, we're watching that. I have them in Blu-ray. And not that it's in Blu-ray. It's been upscaled, but it's still shows all of its 80s and 90s glory. Good times. All right. Well, it is 11:30, so I am done. I'm done talking now. Next week, we're going to talk about Jet KVM, so don't miss it because it'll be great. And my daughter doesn't have any planned dental procedures, and I don't have anything booked. Here's the deal with this show now with Keystone, okay? And I am streaming over on Keystone's YouTube page if you're interested. Here's the thing about this show now with Keystone involved is that those times are available. Here, what's happened is I've made some arrangements with a few installation companies to basically just be available to help them with things if they need something. And so that was what yesterday's call was about. And I don't know if many of these arrangements are going to take off and I'll be regularly meeting with people, or if it's just kind of like a one and done or once in a while type of thing. Either way, I'm excited about it, and it'll be great. So this showtime, I'm going to try really hard to keep it off of my schedule. Like, it's not on my scheduling app, and these companies, as they as needs come up, I'm going to have them use my scheduling app, and that time is cut out of my scheduler. So hopefully that means that we won't have to disrupt the Thursday at 10 o'clock time slot very often. But in an emergency or something like that, I might offer it to them because they pay me pretty well. So I will still try and do a show once a week. If it's not on Thursday, then it will more likely be on Friday. It will be very rare that I cancel something. And if they book me for Thursday, then maybe, and I can't do it on Friday, then I'll try and do it Wednesday. So stay tuned to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon to see if you get notifications. I don't know, YouTube, who knows? But hit that bell notification so that at least you get the information when it comes up. But next week should be Thursday, again, unless another consultation comes up that I need to be at. But in the meantime, next week's plan, I'm going to play around with this Jet KVM one more time. And I'm really tempted to buy more. Unfortunately, I don't think... I want to talk about it now, but I can't. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be the solution I wanted it to be for my other installations. But it would be a great resource if you were a remote guy and you had a regular gig to set up the Jet KVM with the HDMI cable as a mirror, not extended displays, but mirror display. And then you would have access to whichever computer they plugged it into, and it would be really ideal. So, for $100, I'm tempted to keep a couple of them around, and then as I have customers that are reoccurring, I have one guy in Texas that I meet with like every 2 months. It would be really helpful for me to have one and ship it to him and be like, look, plug it in, and then I can control your computer natively, and we can we can do this quickly. That might be worth it for me. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on there with Keystone. I'm hoping to have some regular business through that. If you know of anybody who's struggling with their, with their system, their AV over IP system, I am Netgear certified in many ways. Let me, which one was it? Nope, not that one. It was this one. So I'm Netgear AV certified, level 2 on all their AV switches, switching over AV. I'm also certified on that, and I'm certified with Dante level 2 as well. So if you know of somebody that's struggling to get their system kind of working correctly and getting data from one point to another, I can definitely help them on the networking side. I don't know all the endpoints in the world, because in the AV world there are tens of thousands of those, but I can help you make sure that the network is not the problem. And so if you're at all interested in that, hit me up over at hello@keystoneavnetworks.com. Do I have that in here somewhere? I feel like I should. Subscribe to the channel. So it doesn't, is it this? Did I put it in here? Yeah, here we go. So hello@keystoneavnetworks.com. And just let me know what the project is, and I can definitely communicate with you, let you know what we can do to help, and then we can go from there. So be sure to look me up if you feel free to send my information along, and we'd be happy to give you a hand. They rescanned it to 35. Oh, I didn't know that. They didn't upscale it. They rescanned it at 35 mil. I got a Jet KVM, but neglected to get the PC board for remote power on or off. I got another brand recently. I haven't installed it anywhere yet. It's still sitting in the box. Interesting. Yes, I saw that remote power on and off option. And let me go here real quick. I do love this little... So far, I've been a big fan of this Jet KVM thing. So, which one? They have several here. The GL-iNet one is more expensive. It's almost twice the price of the Jet KVM. But Randy, are you talking about this? This is kind of a cool extension board. Normally I just use Splashtop, and I got it set up on 40 remote computers. Oh my goodness. I also know that there is another product, this guy, extension, port for DC power to the Jet KVM. So you go one side DC power and USB, DC out. It's a pass-through? Interesting. So DC control extension enables power management for connected DC power devices. Oh. Okay, so probably not that. You're probably talking about this, the card. Because this control board that manages power states, it also includes USB-C port for connecting 5-volt power supply. This can then add power. This can then power the Jet KVM through the RJ11 cable. Alternately, 5-volt power can be supplied through a pin header. The ATX power control comes with a PCIe slot cover bracket, allowing for clean cable routing through your PC case without requiring an additional PCIe slot. Oh, that's fun. Oh, so this isn't a PCIe. This is just it's just easy. Oh, okay. That's pretty neat. Interesting. Oh, fascinating. So you route it through this and then to your box. Oh, that's cool. I like that. All right, well, that's kind of like next level. Seriously, though, this little guy, and it's real. Like, one of the things I read about it was that it's like really heavy. And when I took it out of the box, I was like, wow, this thing, where'd my video go? What happened to my video? You guys can still see this, but my camera is not sending a signal. Let's find out what's going on. Bueller. This guy right here. All right, so this is still working. So did my I wonder if my Discovery server crashed. It's not running. Or is this Discovery? Yeah, this is Discovery right here. All right, let's close it and reopen. Okay, Discovery server is open. Is it going to find... Weird. Listening. It's not finding any sources. Huh. Hey, you half broke it. You should throw one of those into my stream. I should throw one of those into my stream rack just in case. Seriously. Oh, there they all are. Hey everybody. That was so weird. Why did it randomly drop all those signals? Oh boy, I don't like that. All right, well, it's more than likely me taking it to the HNL. Yeah, so this little jet KVM though, they also make, where are my browsers here? They also make a rack mount where you can mount like multiples. I think it's like a third-party rack mount. But where is it here? This dude. I saw somewhere it was like customers also bought, and it was a rack mount for them. Oh, here it is. Look. 2 cover plates so that, I mean, that's kind of cool. I don't know if it's worth $50. And it looks like it's 3D printed. It definitely is 3D printed. But I like that it's, the front screen is like curved up a little bit so that, you know, if it's resting on something you can see it. Mine's down sitting on top of the Mac Mini that it's running. But if your cables are long enough, then you could rack mount it, which is kind of a cool idea. Of course, you know that I love to rack mount all the things. So KVM cover, and then where do you buy additional mounts? Do you have to buy them from this dude as well? Things in rack. Oh, that's fun. Oh, look at that. That's cool. It's a whole store of this stuff. Yeesh. It's all 3D printed. That's hilarious. Goodness, it's expensive. So I could do a rack mount for $50 for my Mac. I wish there was a way to like combine them. So can you do a Mac rack mount and then can you put in a Jet KVM as well for $75? You know, I would just design it and print it myself. Well, hoity-toity, mister. I don't have a 3D printer, so I would need to ask somebody. I wonder if these guys have a website. I'm sure they do, where you can like custom order stuff. It's called Things in Rack. Things in Rack. Thingsinrack.com. Okay. Let's check this out. Oh. Here's an interesting problem. My computer is not sending a signal to the Blackmagic anymore. Oh, it's not sending audio to the Blackmagic anymore. Is that because I closed Studio Monitor, perhaps? Yeah, it's because I closed Studio Monitor. So if I reopen this, I see the video, but I don't. There it is. Yeah, okay. All right, so we'll just close that down. All right, so back to thingsinracks.com. And let's have a little look and see what they've got. The Things in Rack gallery. Things in Rack, 19-inch gallery, show all. Oh, that's so cool. They can basically, it looks like they can put anything in a rack. Okay, so how to order. Fix kits or use our configure. Okay, so let's do that. Go to this. Things in rack. Get out of here. All right, thing number 1. I need a 19 inch. The height of the rack is 1U. Color black. Position 1. Apple Mac with on-off button. Position 2. Jet KVM control. Control? All right, that's it, right? Whoa. What the? Want to see device photo gallery? Guidelines. All devices you select use. Okay. So wait, is it just one? KVM control, 6 centimeters. 22 centimeters, 6 centimeters. So what's the total that I get here? We'll give you 44 centimeters to use. Okay. So then, so 22, another 12 is 36. 40. So that's good. As default, we mount them from left to right position. So could I do no device, put a space between these like this? Front panel price selected $16. Price for the device is selected $45. Okay, so it's cheaper to get it custom built than it is just to buy. That's weird. Interesting. I wanted a 3D printer last year. Very quickly discovered that I needed to consider different kinds of printers and filament and nozzles and precision. It was overwhelming. I can't just buy a printer and start printing. I need a whole table full of printers. Well, maybe Angus can help us out with that, because apparently he has one and he's not afraid to use it. So that would be good information. There's the Jet KVM one. So 1, 2, 3, and then would allow me to mount my Mac Mini like this. And, right? Where are the ports at the back? Because mine's just the flat one. Yeah, mine's just the flat one. So, you can check that out. That's pretty cool. I mostly print... Oh, sorry. I have a Bamboo Labs P1S. It does everything that I need it to. I mostly print in PLA and PETG. I design my parts in Fusion 360. Parametric designs fit my brain very nicely. These are all foreign things that I'm hearing, so... My daughter is all done having her checkup, or not checkup, her extraction. Yikes. Oh, I hope she's okay. I hope she feels all right. All right. Well, anyway, this is all very interesting stuff. I'm kind of interested in this, other than, is there a US store? I wonder if they would sell me the plans and then I could have somebody locally do it. Because this is saying pounds right here, right? So go add to basket. A hardened steel nozzle will work with a abrasive filaments like carbon fiber or glass reinforced. Whoa. View the basket. Calculate shipping. Really? Tennessee. I pressed T and it did not take me to Tennessee. All right. Update. Oh. Worldwide shipping is $30, a tariff fee of $14, and then a prepaid tariff of another $10. So the whole thing comes out to $114. Estimated delivery, but not guaranteed by the end of the month. That's not really too far away. I mean, next week is when they estimate that it'll be here. I need a filament dryer to keep them dehumidified, right? Oh, you know what would be really cool is if you could customize this. You could customize this network rack, but add all of the ports on the back of the Mac Mini to the front of the rack, so they're all accessible. Interesting. That would be really cool. And then you just buy little jumpers, and then you could plug them all in right there. Fascinating. All right, well, that's fun. Hey, well, you could get that printed locally for less than that, guaranteed. Look for services like Send. I've never bothered with filament drawing. Not an issue in Canada in the winter, that's for sure. Send. Custom sheet metal fabrication. Custom rack 3D printing. It's a good advocacy to just Maker World modular server rack. Yep. So oh, this is interesting. So, and now that we have central AC, not for summer either. There you go. There you go. This looks like it's a... They're not going to make it for me, but they'll give me the prints to do it for myself. See, I feel like that would be a much different endeavor to get my own printer and then start making these myself. I mean, I could customize the entire rack. Hey, do you guys know what those... So there are rack installer tools. It's like in the shape of a V or like a W, where you just snap it into the rack and then you can put your switch in, mount the switch, and then you take the little rack out and it just holds it for you. I can't remember what they're called, but I want to get one or two. Switch installer tools. What is it called? Let's say network switch installer tools. Patchbox, rack studs. Shoot. Yeah, dang it. Network switch mount, maybe? Man. Mounting bracket. Maybe that's it. Nope, these are just ears. Well, anyway, rack studs are awesome. That's all I use now, nothing else. Whoops. There we go. Rack studs. Oh, yeah. That's pretty neat. Say goodbye to cage nuts. Yeah, there was like a tool though that I saw where you like snap on this little like lightweight aluminum, like it's for like holding heavy servers while you get them kind of lined up, and then when you get the rails mounted and the server mounted, then you can take the little support off. But anyway, taking you to Amazon. Rack studs look cool. Server rack screws, 100 pack. I don't need 100. I might need 20. All right, well, I'll keep looking. But I do got to kind of jet here now. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming by. This was fun. I love the Blackmagic audio meter, 12G Gen 3 audio meter. It's nice and clean. The audio levels are easy to see from across the room, and I think my audio engineer is really going to like it. So if you missed it, go back and check it out. We review it. It only took me like 30 minutes to get it up and running, and most of it is me plugging in HDMI cables. So it's a really nice piece of equipment and has been working the entire time since I got it wired up. So it's not rocket science. It looks nice and clean. It's a 1U unit, and yeah, I think it's going to be great. You can even listen to the feed that's coming in if you just turn up the volume, and that's pretty loud. Actually, it's like shaking the whole unit. So that's pretty sweet. That's going to be a really nice addition, because like I said, my audio engineer, his concern is not what the video looks like. That's my concern. His concern is what it sounds like, and is the audio going out at a level that's acceptable. And so this is going to be like a last piece of the puzzle. We're going to send program to this, which we already do. Send program to him so that he can see what the metering is. So
That's pretty neat.
it is pretty neat. I'm actually, hang on, now I can hear it.
That's pretty neat.
This is a good little monitor for me too, because I can hear what's happening.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
All right, everybody. I'm going to peace out. I will see you next week. We're going to talk a lot about Jet KVM. I'm going to play around with it another week, and then I'm really tempted to buy a few more because they seem to be working really well. I have deadheaded my Mac, and I'm going to use it for a week that way, and we'll see how that goes. But take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for coming along. Always a pleasure to be with you, and hopefully you have enjoyed hanging out for Happy Friday. Oh, and brace yourself if you're in the winter warning zone, those of you here in the south. Good luck. We'll see you next week. We'll see how you fared. Be sure you got lots of food. We will be perfectly fine here for the weekend. And I don't even have to go into service on Sunday because it's pre-recorded. So it's like we planned it. Anyways, take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And we will see you all in the next one. Angus and Randy, thanks for keeping the conversation going. Always appreciate you. And we'll see you guys next week. Take care of yourselves.